Ohai. Papua New Guinea, the state in Oceania in southwest part of the Pacific Ocean, occupies east part of the island New Guinea, Bismarck Archipelago, northern part of the Solomon Islands. The islands of Bougainville, Bogue. The island of D'Entrecosteaux, etc. The area minus 462,840 km. The population minus 7,275,324 persons. 2011. Mainly Papuans and Melanesians. Urban population minus 15.2%. 1991. Official languages English, Current Pisin and Tudihiri Spendthrift. The most part of the population, Christians, the others adhere to local traditional beliefs. Administrative territorial division. 20 provinces. The capital, Port Moresby. Enters the British Commonwealth of Nations. The head of state, the British Queen, provided by the Governor-General. Legislature, National Parliament. The name Papua comes from the Malayan word papov that in translation into Russian means curly. According to other version, from Orang Papua, the curly black-headed person. Such name to the island New Guinea was given by Portuguese Jorge de Menezes in 1526, having noted shape of hair of locals. In 1545 the island was visited by Edigo Ortiz de Reitz and has given it the name, New Guinea, as, according to him, locals resembled natives of Guinea in Africa. Perhaps, he has seen similarity of outlines of coast of the new island and territory of the African Guinea. We see beginnings of the European colonization and before independence, finding the country several times changed the official name. Southeast part in 1884-1906 was called as the British New Guinea, and in 1906-1949 Papua. Under control of Australia. Northeast part at first was colony of Germany and in 1884-1920 the German New Guinea. Since 1914 under control of Australia. Carried the name, and in 1920-1949, according to the decision of the League of Nations, New Guinea, mandated Australia is renamed into the territory. In 1949 two Australian colonies have been united in one, the territory of Papua and New Guinea. In 1972 the province has received the name Territory Papua New Guinea. Since 1975 the name Papua New Guinea became official for the new independent state. The state of Papua New Guinea is located in the western part of the Pacific Ocean, to the north of Australia and near the equator. The country occupies east part of the island New Guinea, Bismarck Archipelago located on the northeast of it. Which part are large islands New Britain, New Ireland and also the Admiralty Islands, Taibar, Liquor, Tanga, Feni, St. Matthias and others. Located to the east northern part of the Solomon Islands. With the greatest islands of Bougainville and Bogue. The D'Entrecosteaux Islands located to the southeast from the main thing. Muro. Vodlark. Trobriand, Louisiade Archipelago and also other nearby islands and reefs. In total more than 600. Papua New Guinea is washed Araferski, Coral, Solomanovi and New Guinean by the seas and also the Pacific Ocean. From Australia the country is separated by the Torsubi Passage, about 160 km wide. This state has overland line only with Indonesia. In the west, which is drawn on 141 meridians and only on the small side deviates on the west together with the river Fly. By Sea Nauru. In the east, and federal states of Micronesia borders on Australia. In the south, the Solomon Islands. In the southeast, in the north, the island New Guinea and the majority of other islands of the country have mountainous terrain. Height of considerable part of the territory more than 1000 m over ocean level, and some tops of New Guinea reach 4500 m, that is belt of eternal snow. Many of ridges represent chains of volcanoes. In Papua New Guinea 18 active volcanoes. The most part from them is in the north of the country. Catastrophic earthquakes are accompanied by volcanic activity, also strong sometimes. The main ridges of east part of the island New Guinea begin strip of 50 km directly from border with Indonesia. Mountains it is old, which are continuation of snow mountains, gradually extending up to 250 km in the central part. The Ridge Central Range, Ridge Bismarcker with the highest point of the country, Mount Wilhelm -4509 m high, Ridge Schroederer, Ridge Mueller and others. Further on the southeast of the mountain become already below. Pass into Ridge Iron Stanley, with maximum height of 4072, the mountain Victoria. And at the southeast extremity of the island plunge underwater. Some peaks tower over water, forming Luzaid Archipelago. Northern slopes of these mountains abrupt, and the southern flat. The southern foothill zone of the Ridge Central Range is usually called by the Papua Plateaus. The closer to the sea, this plateau below, and gradually passes into the boggy lowland. Parallel to the central mountains on the territory of Papua New Guinea from Indonesia, low spurs of northern coastal mountains come. Partially Mount Bavani, up to 1960 m high. Mount Torricelli, the highest point Mount Sulan, 1650 m high. Mountains of Prince Alexander, the highest point, the Mountain Tura, 1240 m high. Coastal mountains come to an end with the lowland. The valley of the Sepik and Ramu rivers. As part of these mountains often consider Mount Adalbert. The highest point, Mount Mengam, 1718 m high. Lying on the right river bank to Ram near the mouth, and also mountains Finisterre and Saruvid located on the peninsula of Huon with the greatest height of 4121 m. Mount Bangetta. In addition to the main island, considerable ridges are on islands New Britain. Ridge Waitman Mountains Nakani and Baining, with the greatest height of 2334 m, Volcano Ulevan. And New Ireland. Ridges Shenitz and Voran, with heights to 2340 m. Papua New Guinea is located in geologically active region on joint Australian. Moving the north with speed of 7 cs/year. And Pacific. Moving the west with speed of 10 cs/year. Earth's plates. The island New Guinea is located on the northernmost tip of the Australian plate and is part of the prehistoric supercontinent Sakhalin. Meganesia. In the geological relation, the country is divided into two main geological provinces. The fly platform located on the Australian plate and the orogeny zone New Guinea, which is on joint of plates.
The flat platform represents the lowland put by the sedimentary deposits collecting since the Mesozoic era to the Quaternary period.
The orogeny zone New Guinea consists of various deformed sedimentary, metamorphic and volcanic rocks, including intrusive. This zone includes areas of Sklachitost, Tapinskaya, the New Guinean Nadvigavi Belt of Owen Stanley, Island Arches, the Melanesian Arches, and internal small sea basins.
The Papuansky folded area with ridges central range and the Papua Plateau is formed by horizontal squeezing of rocks and covered with thick coat of sedimentary carbonate deposits of Miocene time.
The New Guinean Nadvigavi Belt is located to the north of Papuansky Sklachitost and in relief is provided by coastal mountains. It is put mainly by denises formed with average pressures at metamorphism of sedimentary and volcanic rocks. Less often the gneiss is formed with high pressures meet. The Nadvigavi Belt has been formed in two stages. In the southern part the activity was noted in the late Cretaceous, and in northern part Eocene-Oligocene, with formation of intrusive minerals of gabbro and basalt in mountains Torricelli.
The Nadvigavi Belt Owen Stanley was formed to the southwest Papuansky folded area as a result of the shift a little noticeable in modern relief.
The belt is folded by the sedimentary rocks collecting since the Cretaceous to Miocene with inclusions of metamorphic rocks of high pressure. Islands of the Melanesian Arch, New Britain, New Ireland, the Admiralty Islands and other smaller, put by generally intrusive volcanic breeds Eocene-Oligocene of time with small inclusions of the remains of more ancient breeds. In Miocene and early Pliocene volcanic processes in this area have weakened and the surface of islands has been covered series of carbonate deposits.
Since Pliocene time until present the volcanic activity is observed only on New Britain and chain of islands Umboy Manam.
Lavas have mainly carbonate structure. The country has industrially significant reserves of some minerals. The first of mineral deposits, gold, has been opened in 1888 on the island Vanuatu, however it has soon been exhausted. As of 2008 commercial production of copper, gold, molybdenum, silver, tellurium, nickel, cobalt, natural gas, oil and cement raw materials is made. 4 large-scale deposits of copper are known. Not now. The province of Sandan, stocks are estimated at 32 million tons of ore with copper content of 3%.
Okay, Teddy.
The Western Province, stocks are estimated at 510 million tons of ore with copper content of 0.69%.
Penuna.
The Autonomous Region Bougainville, stocks are estimated at 710 million tons of ore with copper content of 0.4%.
Wafi.
The province of Marobe, stocks are estimated at 19 million tons of ore with copper content of 1.4%.
Commercial production is made only on the Okatedi field on which development is made in the open way.
In 2008 on this field T of copper have been extracted. The Penuna field is not developed since May 1989 because of the civil conflicts on the island. Resuming of production is planned. In 2008 in the country 65 T of gold have been extracted. According to United States Geological Survey, Papua New Guinea on gold mining takes the 11th place in the world, and the general reserves of gold are estimated at 2,300 T. The largest fields are liquor. The province New Ireland, stocks are estimated at 188 million tons of ore with the content of gold of 3.6 g/t. In 2008, 24 t of gold are extracted. Stocks are estimated at 510 million tons of ore with the content of gold of 0.63 g/t. In 2008, 16 t of gold. Guinea. Stocks are estimated at 710 million tons of ore with the content of gold of 0.49 g/t. 4 are extracted. The province of Enga, stocks are estimated at 65.4 million tons of ore with the content of gold of 4.6 g/t. In 2008, 19 t of gold. The Tula Godmother are extracted. The Central Province, stocks are estimated at 700,000 tons of ore with the content of gold of 13.3 g/t. In 2008, 2 t of gold. And others are extracted. Production is made both in open pits and in mines. By results of geological investigation, there is opening of new fields, many of which can have industrial value. The Masima mine, located on the island of the same name in the province of the Milne Bay, was the largest field of silver in the country. In 1991, on it 100 t of silver have been extracted. The field had stocks of 35.7 million tons of ore with the content of silver of 11.0 g/t. Because of exhaustion of stocks in 2001, the mine has been closed. In 2008, 52 t of silver on 2 mines have been extracted. In the Okatedi field, 48 t of silver. And in the Porgera field, 40 of silver. Remains preserved the Penuna large-scale deposit. Stocks are estimated by 530 million tons of ore with the content of silver of 1.18 g/t. Also industrially significant fields of molybdenum. Stocks are estimated at 21300 t. Tellurium, nickel and cobalt. It is reported about readiness to extract 31500 t of nickel and 3300 t of cobalt annually within 20 years. Which are not developed yet or known. Papua New Guinea possesses as well significant reserves of hydrocarbons. There is one natural gas field. Hades gas field, the province Southern Highlands. In 2008, 135 molybdenum have been extracted here. Gas. And several oil fields, generally near the Lake Kutubu. As of 2008, stocks are estimated at 12.1 million tons. Extraction of crude oil minus 12.40 million barrels. On the islands which are part of Papua New Guinea, quite dense river network. The rivers originate in mountains and flow down to the ocean. During the periods of heavy rains of the river spread and flood large territories, turning many areas into swamps. Especially New Guinea is a lot of swamps on the island. Spread of malaria also is connected with widespread occurrence of boggy places. Climate of the country, tropical, on the majority of the territory, damp. Temperature changes within year are insignificant. Average daily temperature, about 26. Seasons differ only on amount of precipitation, dry season and rainy season. In different places these seasons fall on different months. However, roast can be considered climate only of coastal areas. Mountain areas significantly differ in the climate from plains. Their temperature is lower, it is more rainfall. Higher than 2500-3000 m average daily air temperature is no more than 10 C. There almost all the time goes small, the drizzle sometimes drops out hail. These areas are not populated. Vegetation and fauna of Papua New Guinea are rich and various. There more than 20,000 plant species grow. The long coast of the island New Guinea is stretched wide. Places up to 35 km. Strip of mangrove vegetation. This fenny zone is absolutely impassable, and it can be crossed only floating on the rivers. Along the rivers thickets of wild sugar cane, and on boggy places, groves of cycads palm trees grow. The dense tropical rainforests formed by hundreds of species of trees climb slopes of mountains. However, now there are also plantations and kitchen gardens. Coconut palms, bananas, sugar cane, melon tree, tuber crops, taro, yam, sweet potato, cassava and other cultures grow. Kitchen gardens alternate with the woods. Grounds are cultivated only 2-3 years, then on 10-12 grow with the wood. Thus the fertility is restored. Higher than 1000-2000 m of the wood become more monotonous on structure, in them coniferous breeds, especially araucarias begin to prevail. These trees have economic value. Their wood, valuable construction material. However, delivery of the cut wood is complicated because of small number of good roads. The highlands of New Guinea are covered with bushes and meadows. In intermountain hollows where climate to the land, the grassy vegetation which has arisen on the place of the woods mainly as a result of the fires is widespread. The fauna of the country is provided by reptiles, insects and especially numerous birds.
Only representatives of marsupials are characteristic of fauna of mammals, as well as in the neighboring Australia, bandinut,
Assiduous badger, Valap, wood kangaroo, Tuscus, etc. In forests and on the coast the dragon, including poisonous, and lizards is a lot of. Crocodiles and turtles meet at sea coast and in the big rivers. From birds cassowaries, birds of paradise, crowned pigeons, parrots, wheat hens are characteristic. Europeans have delivered on the island of domestic hens, dogs and pigs. They run wild pigs and also rats, field mice and some other animals have widely extended on the territory of the country.
By the time of the European colonization, the territory of present Papua New Guinea has been inhabited by Papuans and Melanesians.
They lived in conditions of the Stone Age, being engaged in hunting, fishery and collecting. New Guinea has been discovered in 1526 by the Portuguese seafarer Jorge de Menecissum. The name to the island was given by the Spanish seafarer Inigo Ortiz de Retz in 1545, having seen similarity of the population to the population of the African Guinea. The research of the island and penetration there of Europeans has begun only in the 19th century. So, the Russian researcher N. Mikluka Maklay has lived among Papuans in total nearly 4 years. In the 1870th and at the beginning of the 1880th years. In the 19th century, Papua New Guinea, also other Europeans, dealers visited, Kitalova, missionaries. Europeans have brought the first iron tools to Papua New Guinea. Since 1884, southeast part of the Lake New Guinea, Papua, was under the domination of the British Empire, which at the beginning of the 20th century has transferred her to Australia. Northeast part with adjacent islands, Bismarck Archipelago, etc. The name New Guinea was assigned to this territory later. In the 1880th years has been taken by Germany. After World War I, in 1920 is transferred to Australia as the mandatory territory of the League of Nations. Later the war the Union territory. In 1949 both parts, Papua and New Guinea, in the administrative relation have been united by the Australian authorities. In 1973 the territory Papua New Guinea has received internal self-government. In September 1975 became the independent state. In 1988-1997 on the island of Bougainville there was guerrilla war. The Revolutionary Army of Bougainville fought for separation of the island from Papua New Guinea. For fight against guerrillas, the government of Papua New Guinea used practically all armed forces of the country. About 2,000 soldiers and officers. And also has asked Australia, which has sent a small military contingent, about the help and has employed group of professional mercenaries. During this war about 20,000 people have died. In 2012 the sect of cannibals has broken elections, terrorizing local population. 1824 Holland New Guinea to the west 141 LD property announced the earth of the island. 1884 on November 3 Germany announces protectorate over the northeast part of the island. To the east 141 L, called the German New Guinea. 1884 on November 6 Great Britain announces protectorate over the southeast part of the island. To the east 141 L, called the British New Guinea. 1885 April Germany establishes protectorate over northern part of the Solomon Islands. The island of Buka, the island of Bougainville, the island of Choiseul, the island of Shortland, the island of Santa Isabel, the atoll of Ontonkava. Lord Howe. 1886 The British New Guinea becomes colony of Great Britain. 1899 On November 14 Germany transfers the atoll of Ontonkava, the island of Choiseul, the island of Shortland and the island of Santa Isabel to the British Protectorate of the Solomon Islands. The island of Buka and the island of Bougainville are entered into the structure of colony the German New Guinea. 1906 On September 1 Great Britain has transferred to the Australian Union the colony the British New Guinea renamed into Papua. 1914 On November 11 the German New Guinea is occupied by Australia, renamed into Northeast New Guinea. 1920 On December 17 Australia receives the mandate of the League of Nations on management of Northeast New Guinea called the Territory New Guinea. 1942 On January 21 Beginning of the Japanese occupation of the island New Guinea. 1942 On April 10 Australia has territorially united Papua and Territory of New Guinea, under the name the Territory of Papua and New Guinea. 1949 Administrative Association of Lands.
1971. On July 1, the Australian authorities have given a new name. Territory Papua New Guinea. 1973 December, the territory Papua New Guinea has received self-government. 1975 The independent state of Papua New Guinea as a part of the Commonwealth is proclaimed. On September 16, the constitution is adopted. Papua New Guinea is divided into 4 regions, and those into 22 provinces. On May 17, 2012 are created 2 new provinces of Hela and Devak. They are separated respectively from provinces Southern Highlands and Eastern Highlands. On the Sepik River there is world-famous tradition of wood carving. These carvers create forms of plants or animals because they believe that it is their ancestors and therefore that they feel beautiful. They also create traditional portraits of skull. Also Malagasy art traditions of New Ireland are widely represented in collections of the museums of the world. The population of Papua New Guinea makes 8,947,027 people as of 2020. As of 2021, the population of Papua New Guinea is concentrated in highlands and on east coastal areas of the island New Guinea. Practically all the population of the country rural, only the 5th part of the population lives in urban areas. Only 13.5% of the population of Papua New Guinea live in the cities. Age and sexual structure of the population. 0-14 years. 31.98%. Boys 1,182,539 / girl 1,139,358. 15-24 years. 19. 87%. Men 731,453 / women 711,164. 25-54 years. 37.68%. Men 1,397,903 / women 1,337,143. 55-64 years, 5.83%. Men 218,529 / women 204,717. 65 years or also more senior, 4.64%. Men 164,734 / women 171,916. Indicators for 2020. Middle age. General indicator. 24 years. Men. 24 years. Women. 24 years. Indicators for 2020. The population from 2020 to 2021 has grown by 1.61%. Birth rate coefficient 22.08. Mortality rate 5.97. Net migration makes 0 migrants on 1,000 inhabitants. The 91st place in the world, by data for 2021. Coefficient of infantile mortality. General indicator. 40.33 death of /1,000 births. Male. 45.32 death of /1,000 births. Female.
35.09 death of /1000 births. According to 2021. The average expected life expectancy. General indicator. 69.86 years. Men. 67.37 years. Women. 72.48 years. As of 2021. Total coefficient of birth rate for 2021, 2.79 births only woman. Ethno-racial structure, Melanesians, Papuans, Negrito, Micronesians, Polynesians. Languages are official. Kern Pisin. Most widespread. English. Knows 1% of -2%. Her to the spendthrift. Knows less than 2%. There are over 839 native languages. The country with the greatest number of languages. About 12% of total number of languages in the world. Many languages are spoken by less than 1,000 people. One of explanations, lack of communications between the nationalities living in the valleys which are fenced off by mountains. Religion. Protestantism -64.3%. Lutherans -18.4%, Adventists -12.9%, Pentecostals -10.4%, the Giant Church of Papua New Guinea -10.3%, Evangelists -5.9%, Anglicans -3.2%, Baptists -2.8%, Salvation Army -0.4%. Catholics -27%. Other Christians -5.3%. Other religions -1.4%. There are no data -3.1%. Assessment of 2011.
According to data of the World Factbook defining literacy as population percent at the age of 15 flyings able to read and write, as of 2015 64.2% of the population of Papua New Guinea are also more senior.
Men -65.6%, women -62.8% were competent. This indicator is the lowest in Oceania. Constitutional monarchy. The head of state, Queen Elizabeth II, represented by the Governor-General. Since February 25, 2011, Michael Ogio. The Governor-General is appointed the Queen at the choice of Parliament of Papua New Guinea. The Parliament is unicameral, 109 places, from them 89 deputies are elected by the population for 5 years, or appointed 20 more from provinces. Are provided in Parliament. National Alliance -30 places. Party of Papua New Guinea -8 places. National Action -6 places. Panga -5 places. The People's Democratic Movement -5 places. Party of the Integrated Resources -5 places. Party of National Progress -5 places. The National Congress -5 places. 12 parties have in Parliament from 4 to 1 places and 16 deputies, non-parties. The players of party fractions are often changed as deputies change party accessory. In total, before parliamentary elections in July 2007 in Papua New Guinea, 45 political parties have been officially registered.
The foreign policy of Papua New Guinea consists in close ties with Australia and other traditional allies, and also the cooperative relations with neighboring countries.
Her views of the international political and economic problems, as a rule, moderate. Papua New Guinea has diplomatic relations with 56 countries. Papua New Guinea enters in a row of regional organizations, among them Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, APEC, Asian Development Bank, the Regional Forum of ASEAN, HARPS, in a J+2 format, Australia and New Zealand.
Papua New Guinea is the member observer of ASEAN.
The East Asian Summit, EASE. Papua New Guinea acts as the potential candidate.
East Asian Community
EU. Papua New Guinea, the candidate. The Secretariat of the Pacific Community, or the Commission for the countries of the southern part of the Pacific Ocean. Quito. Pacific Islands Forum, Koto. Plan of Colombo, British Commonwealth of Nations. Secretariat of the Pacific Community, the Asia-Pacific Cooperation Council on Safety and ATS. Southern Pacific Regional Program for Environment Protection, etc. Tension with Australia was fueled in 2006 when the Prime Minister Michael Somare has been accused of complicity to Julian Motia's escape on the Solomon Islands. Motia has been put on the wanted list in Australia on serious charge of expected sexual crimes in relation to children. In revenge, the Australian government has forbidden Somare entry into Australia. All negotiations between Canberra and Port Moresby have been suspended. In September 2007 there has come thaw in the relations, and in December 2007 the new Prime Minister of Australia Kevin Rudd has met Sir Michael Tuboli. Rudd declared,
"These relations have endured very difficult period lately.
In fact, freezing of contacts between the governments at the level of ministers of two countries took place. I do not believe that it is an acceptable option for future relations. At the end of the ordeals, Papua New Guinea has begun to strengthen the relations with Cuba. Cuba provides medical care to the country. In September 2008, the government of Papua New Guinea has organized the first meeting of ministers of Cuba and the Pacific Islands in Havana, directed to cooperation strengthening between Cuba and the Pacific Island countries, in particular in fight against effects of climate change.
As of November 2005, the relations with the Pacific neighbor of Fiji were intense, as certain number of mercenaries with Fiji acted illegally on the island of Bougainville, arming and preparing militia.
Official diplomatic relations have been established in 1976. Papua New Guinea is member of Special Union Committee on Decolonization. The French government has noted that it finds moderate the relation of Port Moresby concerning decolonization of New Caledonia, which, as well as Papua New Guinea, is in Melanesia. The National Assembly of France maintains friendship with Papua New Guinea.
Indonesia has overland borders 760 kilometers long, which keeps in tension diplomatic relations within many decades with Papua New Guinea. Indonesia is provided in Papua New Guinea by embassy in the city of Port Moresby and consulate to Vanimo. The independent state of Papua New Guinea and People's Republic of China. 3. Have established official diplomatic relations in 1976, soon after obtaining independence by Papua New Guinea. 2 of these countries support diplomatic, economic and to a lesser extent the military relations now. The relations between the countries are rather warm. China is a large investor and also assists in development of Papua New Guinea.
In March 2009, Philippines and Papua New Guinea have concluded the Memorandum of Understanding (MOV), which will strengthen cooperation between two countries in the sphere of development of fishery. The memorandum will promote transfer of technologies in development of aquaculture, to advance of the navigable enterprises, investments, technical training, joint researches, and strategic addition of plans of each country in Coral Triangle.
The same year, Papua New Guinea has asked Philippines for the help and assistance according to its accession to ASEAN. Papua New Guinea and Great Britain are under government of Queen Elizabeth II. Diplomatic relations with England are established since 1975, when Papua New Guinea has gained independence of Australia. The USA and Papua New Guinea have signed the contract between the USA and the Pacific Islands for multilateral trade of tuna, according to which the USA is paid by $63 million a year to islands, and they provide access of the USA to their fishing vessels.
Also supports by the USA efforts of Papua New Guinea in the field of protection of biodiversity.
The International Initiative of Coral Reefs directed to protection of reefs in the tropical countries, such as Papua New Guinea.
Papua New Guinea is the member state of the British Commonwealth of Nations since 1975, when it has gained independence of Australia. Papua New Guinea is member of the British Commonwealth, and in other member states of this organization of its embassy, the highest commissioners, in the rank of the ambassador head. Armed forces of Papua New Guinea are completed on voluntary contract basis with males aged from 16 years. With the consent of parents and after the termination of 12 classes of school. The compulsory appeal is not carried out. Papua New Guinea is very rich with natural resources, however their use is complicated because of conditions of the area and high costs of development of infrastructure. Nevertheless, development of fields of copper ore, coal and oil yields nearly 2/3 of currency revenues. DDD per capita in 2017, $2.782 thousand. The 158th place in the world. The industry. 37% of DDD. Production and oil refining, gold mining, silver, copper ore, processing of copra, production of palm oil, wood processing, construction. Agriculture. 33% of DDD, 85% working.
Coffee, cocoa, copra, cocos, tea, sugar, rubber, sweet potatoes, fruit, vegetables, vanilla.
Seafood, bird, pigs. Services industry -30% of DDD. Export -8. $522 billion in 2017, liquefied natural gas, oil, gold, copper ore, nickel, cobalt, palm oil, coffee, cocoa, copra, spices, turmeric, vanilla, ginger and cardamom. Seafood. Main buyers of export: Australia -18.9%, Singapore -17.5%, Japan -13.8%, China -12.7%, Philippines -4.7%, the Netherlands -4.2%, India -4.2%. Import -1. $878 billion in 2017. Machines, the equipment and vehicles, industrial goods, food, fuel, chemicals. Main suppliers of import: Australia -30.1%, China -17.3%, Singapore -10.2%, Malaysia -8.2%, Indonesia -4%. Enters into the International Organization of the Countries of Africa, the Caribbean region and the Pacific region. Claims of world human rights activists cause cases of use of force by police to children, mockeries at children and sexual violence over them in police stations. Medical care quite often is not provided to the children who were injured from police injuries. Practice of ritual murders of the women suspected of sorcery remains. According to the statistics, 2/3 of women in Papua New Guinea constantly are exposed to family violence. Half of women, on polls, faced sex on coercion. Sorcery is pursued under the law. Usually cases of sorcery sought rural courts which take a jaundiced view to defendants obviously. Such practice is opposed by local human rights activists and Catholic Church. There were lost cases without message and murders of human rights activists, including those who support women's rights. According to the program of the Union for Settlements, the crime rate is countrywide quite high. That is one of the most serious problems influencing development of the cities and management in Papua New Guinea. The large cities are especially criminogenic. For example, Port Moresby, Lee. That in many respects is explained by availability in these cities of such social and criminal phenomenon as rascalism. The death penalty in the country has been prohibited from 1954 to 1991. In 1991 the parliament has entered the death penalty for premeditated murder, but the moratorium actually works. Any death penalty for this period it has not been carried out. However, murder of the 4 children by mother in 2009 has brought up in society question of removal of the moratorium. The law on sorcery has been adopted in Papua New Guinea in 1971. Though it does not claim that actually there are sorcerers and sorcery, however in the text of this act is established that the people considering themselves bewitched are not responsible for the actions. This situation is used as the softening circumstance in court in cases when the expected sorcerer is killed. Often the women, alien from other tribes, who do not have relatives became the victims of mob killings in connection with charges of sorcery. In February 2013 in the city of Montagan the mob killings over the 20-year-old girl have been made. She was accused of murder of the boy by means of sorcery. Then relatives of the child have burned alive the suspect in the face of crowd. Union officials have condemned deeds. In 2012 in the country the sect of hunters on witches who killed sorcerers of both sexes was active and ate fragments of their bodies. According to members of gang, spirits help to distinguish the sorcerer from the ordinary person. Because of actions of cannibals, the authorities of the country even had to prolong the elections which were taking place in the country as many inhabitants were afraid to go on polling precincts.
In April 2013, the Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea, Peter O'Neill, has promised to repeal the law on sorcery existing in the territory of the country. In May of the same year, it was reported that this legal act in the state is repealed by.
Besides, the authorities of the country have made the decision after break in 60 years to resume the death penalty in attempt to stop wave of violent crimes. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.